oftentimes if I tell someone we're buying a multifamily property, the first question they'll ask is, what's the price per unit? And price per unit is obviously very important. It's a metric of valuation, but the second question after that should be, what is the unit mix? Because if I tell you the price per unit is $140,000, that means something, but it means to me a whole lot more if I know what the unit mix is. Because if I know if the property is predominantly studios and one beds, that means maybe the price per unit is actually not so attractive. But if I tell you that the property is predominantly 2 bedrooms and 3 bedrooms, now that is just more attractive on a price per unit basis. Obviously, 2s and 3s are worth more than studios and 1s. And what I found really interesting is that in 2024, the share of apartments that were developed in 2024, I think maybe in the last few years, was 57% studios and 1 bedrooms. And there's various reasons for that. You know, it's not like studios and 1 bedrooms are always bad. They're not a bad thing, especially in urban centers like here we are in Lower Manhattan, right? Studios and 1 beds perform very well in urban areas like this. But when it comes to the suburbs, which is where we like to invest in, really the larger units do better. And that's because we're trying to attract families. We like the sticky nature of families. We hope to have them as tenants for a long time. And we also want to be located near good schools, low crime, high income. And so that's all attractive things that we can get a really high quality family into a 2-bedroom or 3-bedroom, and they'll stay as residents with us for a long time. So what's interesting is going back to the 2000s, apartments built in the 2000s era, only 37% of the share of apartment development was actually in studios and 1 bedrooms. So it's actually interesting to see that the percentage of 2 bedrooms as a function of new supply has gone down actually tremendously. So that kind of builds on my theory that I have that 2 bedrooms and larger will appreciate with time faster than studios and 1 bedrooms. And so we kind of think about it as like a rarer asset. Yeah, of course a 2-bedroom isn't actually rare. You can go and rent one anywhere, but if you invest into units that are larger, not just by bedroom, but also by square footage. So if you buy a property with larger units and larger unit types like 2 bedrooms, 3 bedrooms, in the suburbs where there's a lack of competition by way of new supply and there's growing population, growing incomes, high quality schools and low crime, that is a recipe for success.